Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a crossover Red Sonja and Claw the Unconquerable by Wildstorm Dynamite, issue number 1 of 4. 4 issues. I got all 4 of them. Covered by Alex Ross. I do not know where the Wildstorm thing comes from, so maybe because I do not know the Claw character very well. Is he a part of Wildstorm? Did they have the rights to Claw the Unconquerable character, or maybe Red Sonja before she's been bought by Dynamite? And this is a book from 2005, 2006, I believe. And there was the part that I've, a little bit get fed up by comics. There was a time that I just stopped comics, right? Because the comics were getting worse and worse, and it was really depending on what I bought. I mean, I bought a lot. Didn't even care that it was good or bad. I just bought it, because art looks good. But there was a lot of bad and a lot of good around this time period. And Dynamite has a reputation, especially now, that it's getting, I don't know what they're doing, but it's getting worse and worse and worse. Back in the day, it was pretty okay. It was not that bad, but it wasn't even worse. So we kind of found out if this actually at the end, because it's a little bit too soon to see if it's actually good or not. There's some problems with this book. I'm going to address that. So we're going to dive in, and we have Claw killing Red Sonja. But this is all a dream, right? And it's a fantasy that he is, a warrior's dream, to revel in the fight, to feel blood pulsing through his veins, etc. And then the spoils are women, killing children and babies and older people. And he says, and after that was without fail when Claw awoke with the torment screams that could be heard for miles. So yeah, it's by Andy Smith and John Layman, and this is part 1, The Accursed. I know Andy Smith. I have a couple of books from him. He's actually a very good artist. But there is some very rough art in here, in my opinion. But maybe it has to do, and that's the trouble that I have, is it maybe Wildstorm FX coloring that causes the trouble? Or maybe Andy was a little bit more, I'm not sure if this was one of his first books or how long he was in the industry, or that is maybe his earlier work. Or that this book or series was maybe a little bit of a rush job, because some of the art looks a little bit rough. I'm going to show you why. So, okay. We have Red Sonja here, right? And she is now in the land of Pitaria. And she's traveling. And then she hears screams. And she looks at, sees that, Claw here. He cannot take it anymore. He wants to kill himself before the madness takes him over. But before he could do that, right? Because this is his Claw, and it would be more appropriate that he kills himself. He's being attacked by a group of bandits, and Sonja says, "Imbeciles! If they waited an instant more, the Clawed One would have done their work for them. Still, for one on the verge of taking his own life, he appears to possess a considerable reserve of fight." Also, to be honest, no arm could bend this far in a stretched manner, right? It's not possible. Unless you are very extremely agile, but still. So, of course, Red Sonja says that she may be in his debt, because if he wasn't here, then the bandits would, jump her. So, not a fan of this blood spatter thing here. It looks, like I said, it looks a little bit rushed. And what rushed, I mean mostly the outlines on the character, the hair especially. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, or just in a moment. So, Claw thinks she's an enemy, but she explains that she is not, and that she's helping him. And so they're doing a lot of killing and slaying, if you know what I mean. And so she says, "Hey, I'm Sonja. Who are you?" He says, "I know you. Not likely. I will remember someone as distinguished as yourself. I've seen you in my dreams. And she's laughing at him because a lot of men do that, try to get in her pants. And she says, you one of the many hundred people. Well, she's not wrong. Anyway, so she says, hey, I'm going to North, so if you want to accompany me, you could do that. But she says, hey, I'm not joking. I did speak the truth. I did dream earlier of you, and I killed you. So she says, I'm serious. I'm a menace. There is darkness in my soul which stems from this accursed appendage. It whispers horrors to me, feeds me urges which are both bloody and terrible. But she says, friend, I'm not in the habit of letting others determine who or what is dangerous to me. Those who attack me take their life in their hands. All right, and she's also praising him for, speaking of his urges to kill one. It helps, right? Because, well, it is often the only thing that separates true warriors from the corpses they leave behind. It's a little bit weird analogy here, but hey, who am I? I'm not living in the Hyborian Age or in the Middle Ages. So we go to, a kingdom. It doesn't look that good, It's, like I said, looks simple, looks relatively small also. So this raven crow comes and he is saying, Kla, have you something to show me? I like this, these images in its eye. So the creature gets killed, the blood is, spilled on the floor, and whoever this is, seeing that, Red Sonja is coming. Delightful, it's been far too long, he says. Right? All right, so they're having a meal with each other, right? And she says, now tell me of your hand. By the gods, women, have you no subtlety, he says. I've neither the time nor the patience, never have. Now speak up, that claw. Its origins are sorcerers, surely are they not? Well, of course they are. So he explains his origin, that he is of the clan Vulcan. And then, he has barely any memory. His parents are dead. And then there's a stranger standing over him, turning his hand into a claw. I have since traveled far and wide, seeking a reason of explanation behind the curse or enchantments to counter it. And though I have not found answer, I have found something just as valuable. Now, the problem with the art that I say, looks a little bit rough, is mostly in the hair part, because that is something that really stands out. It seems that there is barely any texture or drawing texture in the hair, but then the colorist going over it, tried to do his thing, but it clashes with each other, with the thick outlines, and then a softer, if you can call it that, coloring tried to do its work. So this is a close-up. Like I said, it looks rough. You can see it with a ponytail. Is it pony? The tail of the horse. And there is a couple of other instances as well that I think that it doesn't look very good. So Klaus says that he is doing the bidding of its hand. It started with whispers and then it's turned into commands, and he thinks that he soon will lose control and then the hand will take over, right? Because the more blood he spills, the more the hand seems to awaken and getting more powerful. And I think, okay, I like that, it's just more, it's not new or different, that the demonic force taking over a man or a woman, but, it's the way it's been told. So Sonja explains that maybe she can help him, because in the kingdom of Pitaria, she is met a sorcerer along with her companion Tanador. She was hired to defend the kingdom, and a prince, to help the prince for countering evil forces that wants to take over the kingdom. And there is a exceptional Brizendinian wizard named Baxla. Along with Baxla magics, Algren's leadership and resolve, her sturdy blade and her axe, and the axe of her compatriot Vanador, the kingdom would surely been lost. All right, so there was a bloody battle. Day one, like I said, coming back to the hair a little bit here, right? It doesn't look good. It looks unfinished, rough. I said that before, but Yeah, you can see it here. But I mean, you be the judge, right? But I mean, like I said, I know Andy's art. He's doing tremendous work in his own crowdfunded campaign called Dark. Wait, it's not Darkoff. Is it? Oh, dude, I have to look it up. Give me a second. I believe it was Dark. Oh man. Well, if you Google Andy Smith crowdfunded campaign, you find it. I believe it's Darkoff, something like that. Sorry if I'm misremembering. Anyway, but check it out. He has made 2 books now. I believe a third is in the work. People give it high praise, so check it out if you want. Anyway, so the prince is now turned into, I don't know, a king, I guess. And he's being in some kind of a coronation, but she doesn't. Wants to stay here because that is not her nation in her nature to be bound in one place. And then she says to Claw, "Hey, it's a day worth of riding, so let's go there." And Claw says, "This is your kingdom of light and peace and hope." Apparently, in my absence, there's been some changes. All right, so they've been greeted by people. He says, "Surrender your weapons." And she says, "I'm Red Sonja. I returned to seek the audience with the king." But this guy says that the king is now in the dirt and dead, and they have orders from the master wizards to detain you. Should you resist, we will kill you. Right? Well, this guy grabs 8 abs. That's a lot. And so he sees that he has a claw. So the killing begins, right? So she says, "It seems, Red Warrior, this welcome is a bit colder than you expected." And she says, "Yes, indeed. Now, Falcon, should that infernal claw of yours inflame your bloodlust, perhaps it would be a good time to indulge." Yes, it's okay, I guess. Right? I don't know. I just can't overget that it looks so unfinished and rough. Like I said, maybe it has to do with the coloring, but it's just an assumption. Anyway, so this guy reports to this wizards, and she says there is a Red Sonja is here, and she says, kill her and send forth the dark beast. But there is a guy with her that has a claw, and he says, "Kill Red Sonja and bring the clawed warrior to me." Wait a minute, he has claws too. What does that mean? We're going to find out in the next issue, guys. So yeah, it's a little bit too early to see where this is going. And I've read this once in 2006, right? This almost 20 years ago, I cannot remember. And the reason that I'm doing this is because, amongst other things, to see if the older comics that I have, are they really that good, or I just, have a buying fetish and trying to collect as much as comics that I had back in the day. I'm not doing that. Well, I lie. I still doing that, but in another format. Anyway, let's not go into that. Let's not talk about my, spending habits. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and also YouTube. Just see you next time. Bye-bye.